Just imagine this. The edge of our galaxy, a place so far away that light takes tens of thousands of years to reach us. A region where stars are sparse, darkness reigns supreme, and the universe feels utterly silent and eternal, suddenly erupting with a burst of energy so powerful and so incomprehensible that NASA's most advanced telescopes and observatories could barely process what they were witnessing, because for the first time, instruments designed to detect cosmic radiation and gamma-ray emissions recorded a massive, instantaneous surge of energy emanating from the very outskirts of the Milky Way. And this wasn't the usual stellar flare or supernova explosion that scientists have cataloged for decades. It was something different, something intense, precise, and shockingly organized, almost like the universe itself was sending a message through an unfathomable cosmic pulse. And when the data first arrived, initial analyses suggested a natural explanation, perhaps a hypernova, an unknown type of star collapse, or the collision of neutron stars. But as researchers dug deeper, the evidence didn't add up, because the energy signature didn't match any known pattern. It was not only massive in magnitude, radiating more energy in a fraction of a second than our sun could emit in millions of years, but it also carried subtle fluctuations, rhythmic pulses within the burst, as if the cosmos had embedded a secret code inside the raw power. A code waiting for someone capable of noticing to decipher. And here's where the mystery deepens. The burst appeared to originate from a completely dark sector, a region thought to contain only scattered star clusters and drifting interstellar gas, a place devoid of large celestial objects, which immediately raised the question: how could something so energetic occur in near-empty space, in a zone where physics predicts almost nothing? And if such an event could happen there, what forces or entities could create such unimaginable power? And as the news spread among astronomers, theorists, and space enthusiasts, the debates grew heated, because some suggested that maybe this energy burst was not natural at all. That perhaps it was artificial, a signal or technology far beyond human comprehension, intentionally generated at the edge of the galaxy. And the more scientists scrutinized the waveforms, the more strange patterns emerged, almost fractal in nature, repeating sequences of rising and falling intensity, intricate oscillations, and subtle shifts in frequency that appeared too deliberate to be random, as if designed to be noticed by a civilization capable of observing across cosmic distances. And then came the most unsettling discovery. When cross-referenced with historical cosmic data, faint echoes of similar energy bursts were identified, occurring not once or twice, but at irregular intervals over the past several millennia, always originating from approximately the same coordinates, which led to an alarming possibility that these bursts were not random events at all, but recurring signals, periodic manifestations of some hidden phenomenon, some mechanism or intelligence operating on a timescale beyond human comprehension. And as curiosity turned to obsession, NASA assembled a global team of astrophysicists, radio astronomers, and data analysts to scrutinize every possible angle, scanning multiple wavelengths, from X-rays to infrared, gamma rays to radio waves. But each new layer of observation only added important questions, because the energy bursts appeared to interact with interstellar matter in ways no one had predicted, bending the local magnetic fields, distorting space-time slightly, and creating subtle gravitational ripples detectable only with the most sensitive equipment. And what made it eerily compelling is that these interactions weren't destructive in the normal sense. They didn't tear apart nearby stars or disrupt planetary systems, yet they left measurable signatures of power and intelligence, like a message encoded not in words, but in the very fabric of the cosmos. And while mainstream science cautiously referred to it as anomalous galactic energy phenomenon, independent researchers and amateur astronomers noticed further peculiarities. Optical telescopes captured transient glows in adjacent star fields, fleeting flashes synchronized with the bursts, while radio arrays recorded strange repeating pulses that seemed to resonate across the interstellar medium, creating a subtle hum that, when amplified, revealed patterns that could almost be interpreted as communication. like an alien symphony played on the strings of the universe itself, and this revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community, because if this was indeed a deliberate signal, then it implied not only intelligence, but an intelligence operating on a scale, both temporal and spatial, incomprehensible to humans, something that could manipulate massive cosmic energies with precision and intent. And as discussions raged, several leaked internal memos suggested that NASA was considering sending specialized probes toward the origin of these bursts. Probes designed to withstand extreme radiation, equipped with advanced AI to analyze phenomena in real time. And yet, even with all this technology, there was the chilling acknowledgement that humanity may be entirely incapable of understanding the full purpose of these energy pulses. That we might only be seeing fragments of a message, hints at a plan or consciousness far beyond our cognition. And as the public became aware, forums, online communities, and social media exploded with speculation, ranging from natural explanations like hypermassive black holes or undiscovered neutron star clusters to far more terrifying scenarios, suggesting that an advanced civilization was intentionally sending energy bursts, either as a warning, a method of observation, or a test to measure whether emerging civilizations like ours were capable of noticing. And the theories didn't stop there, because some began connecting these bursts with historical anomalies, ancient myths of heavenly fires, unexplained atmospheric phenomena, and even certain cosmic events recorded in the earliest human star maps, suggesting that perhaps these bursts were not new, but part of a recurring pattern that civilizations throughout time had witnessed, though most had misinterpreted them as divine or natural phenomena. And here's the most haunting part. The bursts weren't just one-time spikes. They appeared to follow a subtle cadence, a rhythm that could almost be read as a language, with long intervals followed by rapid pulses, high-energy spikes paired with quiet lulls, almost like breathing, almost like a heartbeat spanning thousands of light years. And as NASA's team attempted to decode the waveforms, the feeling among them was one of awe and fear combined, because if this was intentional communication, the scale and intelligence required to generate it was so far beyond humanity that it made us realize just how small and young our civilization truly is. And as months passed, more data poured in, showing secondary effects, faint distortions in nearby interstellar dust clouds, slight deviations in cometary paths, and unusual energetic flares in the galactic halo that all aligned temporally with the bursts, hinting at manipulation of matter and energy on a galactic scale, suggesting a presence, a force, or an intelligence whose existence we could detect, but not fully comprehend. And this realization has forced scientists to reconsider long-held assumptions about the Milky Way, the nature of intelligent life, and the very fabric of cosmic physics, because these energy bursts might represent a mechanism of galactic communication, a way to transmit information across tens of thousands of light years, a system of knowledge far beyond our capacity. And as the team continues to analyze the bursts, the tension grows, because with each pulse comes the possibility of understanding, but also the terrifying acknowledgement that we are perhaps the listeners, not the communicators. That somewhere at the edge of our galaxy, a power unimaginably vast and intelligent is observing, signaling, or testing us. And the more they analyze, the clearer it becomes that humanity is standing on the precipice of a revelation that could redefine everything we know about life, consciousness, and the universe. Because if a single burst of energy can reach across the void of space, manipulated with precision and intent, then it is no longer a question of if we are alone, but rather when, and whether we are ready to fully understand the cosmic truth lying just beyond our grasp. And as humanity's instruments continued to focus on the edge of the galaxy, the phenomenon revealed itself to be far more complex and terrifying than anyone had anticipated. Because these energy bursts were not isolated incidents, but appeared to be part of a massive, orchestrated sequence, stretching across thousands of light years, affecting multiple star systems, nebulae, and interstellar clouds in ways that defied conventional physics. And while initial explanations suggested stellar activity or rare cosmic collisions, detailed analysis of the data revealed patterns too precise, too deliberate to be natural, with rhythmic pulses and fluctuations embedded within the energy that resembled a kind of code or message. Subtle variations in frequency and amplitude that hinted at intelligence, as if the universe itself were attempting to communicate. And what made the situation even more unsettling was that the bursts were not only energetic, but interactive. Subsequent pulses seemed to respond to previous ones, creating an intricate sequence of cause and effect, as though a deliberate experiment was unfolding on a galactic scale. And as NASA teams and collaborating observatories pored over the data, they realized that the bursts were also influencing the physical environment of nearby regions, causing minute gravitational distortions, slight bending of light from distant stars, and perturbations in the interstellar medium, phenomena that could not be explained by any known natural process. And when these subtle effects were mapped, they revealed structures, almost like invisible scaffolding, spanning light years, guiding the propagation of the energy, suggesting that these bursts were not random, but transmitted along precise channels, carefully constructed to deliver information or energy across unimaginable distances. And the implications were staggering, because any intelligence capable of orchestrating such a system would be far beyond human understanding, capable of manipulating space, energy, and matter on scales that challenge every assumption about what is possible. And as discussions spread among the scientific community, some theorists proposed that these bursts might be a form of interstellar communication, a way for an ancient civilization to transmit knowledge across the galaxy, while others warned that they could be instruments of observation, measuring the emergence of intelligent life like ours, testing our capacity to notice, analyze, and understand. And as data accumulated, a disturbing detail emerged. The bursts were not entirely consistent in intensity or duration. They contained hidden micropulses, subtle variations that appeared to encode information, patterns that repeated at intervals corresponding to mathematical constants, sequences resembling prime numbers and Fibonacci ratios. And this realization suggested an intelligence not only aware of physics, but capable of embedding knowledge in energy itself, sending messages across vast cosmic distances in a format designed to be decipherable only to observers capable of detecting and interpreting such intricate structures. And as NASA's teams worked tirelessly, creating simulations, AI models, and theoretical frameworks to decode the signals, they found that certain bursts seemed to trigger faint responses in nearby celestial objects, minor alterations in orbital trajectories, shifts in magnetic fields, and unexpected fluctuations in radiation from distant stars, as if the bursts were capable of influencing matter and energy intentionally, adding a layer of purpose and design that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. And amateur astronomers corroborated these findings, observing subtle glows, optical flickers, and transitory anomalies synchronized with the bursts, suggesting that the phenomenon extended beyond raw energy into perceptible, measurable effects on matter. And as the observations continued, scientists noticed a deeper temporal pattern, historical records of cosmic anomalies, unexplained flashes, and strange electromagnetic readings seemed to align with the bursts, indicating that this phenomenon had been occurring for thousands, perhaps millions of years, and that civilizations long before ours may have encountered, recorded, or even attempted to interpret it, though most lacked the technology to fully perceive its complexity. And the most chilling aspect of all was that despite its power and reach, the bursts never destroyed nearby systems, never obliterated stars or planets, instead interacting with the galaxy with precision and subtlety, like an intelligence observing, testing, or guiding. And as theorists explored the possibilities, some proposed that the bursts could represent a galactic-scale consciousness, a system operating on temporal and spatial scales that humans can barely comprehend, a presence that observes, communicates, and manipulates its environment across tens of thousands of light years, entirely invisible yet undeniably present. and as computational simulations attempted to model the energy flows. They revealed structures that suggested pathways, channels, and nodes, like a network constructed across the Milky Way, designed to transmit bursts efficiently, hinting at a mechanism of interaction that was simultaneously physical, energetic, and informational.